I was watching a Johnny Depp reel of clips from his movies, which they were kind of entertaining. When I got to thinking about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case, which I'll talk about in a minute. Hi, I'm Dave Buckley. I'm a personal injury attorney. Here's the thing. I get calls every day from people who've been injured through no fault of their own, asking me to take their case. Just yesterday, I spoke to someone who slipped in a puddle at a grocery store. I took another call from someone who had surgery and the surgeon's scalpel slipped and nicked a vital organ. Then there was the call from someone who said someone was on Facebook saying bad things about them. When I take these calls, my first two questions are always the same. One, what are your injuries? And two, how have you been harmed by the actions of these people? Because just because these things happened, it doesn't mean that there's always a case. The Johnny Depp case and another one I'll mention in a second shows just what I'm talking about. Whether you have a case or not depends on a lot of things. First and foremost, a personal injury case. Every personal injury case always has to have injury and harm, a two-part test. It's not enough that you've only been injured. You also have to have been harmed in such a way that it's measurable monetarily. You have to be able to assign a value to the injury. That's how personal injury cases work. Let's look at the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case and the Alex Jones InfoWars case. Two cases that show injury and harm to get a sense of what I'm saying. Many of you know Johnny Depp from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Well, Johnny Depp's ex-wife, Amber Heard, wrote an article in a magazine alleging that an unnamed person domestically abused her. Johnny Depp sued Amber Heard, saying in his lawsuit that she could have only meant that she was talking about him, and because of her allegations, his character was negatively affected and that movie studios didn't want to hire him anymore, and that he lost multiple million-dollar movie roles. So basically, he claimed her actions caused him injury and harm. A jury looked at the evidence and listened to the testimony. By the way, if you didn't watch the trial in real time, you should check out YouTube and listen to the testimony to see the craziness firsthand. But anyway, the jury determined that Johnny Depp met his burden of proving injury and harm. Remember that you need both. The jury found that Amber Heard made untrue claims about Depp and that those untrue claims had a negative impact on Depp's character and that those untrue claims caused injury that affected his standing in the community such that he suffered economic harm because he lost work over those untrue claims. And because he proved that the injury caused him measurable harm, the jury awarded him $10 million. In the Alex Jones InfoWars case, Alex Jones was a popular radio show host who alleged that the 2012 Sandy Hook massacre, where 20 elementary school children and 6 teachers were murdered by a gunman, was a hoax that was meant to destabilize the gun industry. He made this a constant topic of conversation on his radio show for years. People believed him. The family of one of the young victims, 6-year-old Jesse Lewis, sued Jones for defamation, claiming that Alex Jones knew that what he was saying was not true and that his lies caused them injury by subjecting them, the Lewis family, to constant harassing phone calls, hateful online attacks, death threats, and that their house was actually shot at by people who believed that the Lewis family were lying about losing a son at Sandy Hook. Imagine. The Lewis family said the years-long verbal assaults on their character harmed their mental health to such a degree that they suffered post-traumatic stress disorder, and that harm negatively affected their quality of life and relationships and reputation in the community. A jury determined that the Lewis family met their burden of proving injury and harm, that the Alex Jones lies about Sandy Hook caused them traumatic mental injury, and that those lies were so pervasive, so widespread, that a huge number of people believed those lies, and as a result, the Lewis family suffered harm to their reputation, and the jury awarded the Lewis family an astounding $49.3 million. In America, we have an incredible judicial system where anyone who has been injured and harmed by another has the right to sue those who have caused that injury and harm. It doesn't matter who the other party is. It could be your next door neighbor. It could be a movie star. It could be a major corporation. It could even be the government itself. Everyone has access to the courts. But how, or even if you get there, starts with having a competent and responsible attorney assessing the facts of the case and giving you a frank and honest opinion of whether or not your suit should be brought in the first place. While access to the court is a fundamental constitutional right, that access is also a privilege, and it should only be reserved for cases that have merit, cases that at the outset have the basis of having provable injury and harm. Otherwise, if every offended person, if every perceived insult, if every minor injury were brought into court, the system would not only crash, but the process would lose integrity and eventually become ineffective and meaningless. Lawyers are the gatekeepers to our justice system, and lawyers have the responsibility to make sure that not only your rights are protected, but that the system itself is protected. As for the person who slipped in the puddle at the grocery store, the only thing he hurt was his pride. No case there. Person who had a vital organ nicked, well, it's too soon to tell in that case, but we're going to keep an eye on that one. And the person offended by Facebook comments, well, based on what I've just told you, I'll leave it up to you to guess what my answer was to her. I'm Dave Buckley. I'm a personal injury attorney. I hope you're never injured or harmed by someone else, but if you are, give me a call. I'll be happy to review your case and let you know if there's a claim to be made. Please click the like button if this video is helpful. And I have many more videos on personal injury, so please subscribe to my channel and check those out. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.